With me is Clement Jewitt, who is a musician, composer, and I believe a philosopher. Hello.
Hello to you as well.
I wish to talk to you about the nature of music in general, but also about the music you make. You kind of consider yourself to be a spiritual person, do you?
I do, yes. That's a very important element in all our lives, really. But I think it was, to a degree, discovering the importance of that led me to become a composer.
How would you define spiritual, just for the record?
That is a very deep and very difficult question. I suppose we could define it negatively by saying it is not the physical life, it is not the emotional life, it is something else.
Now, can music be a spiritual music, or is there music which we can say is not spiritual, or all music is spiritual? What is your view?
Well, there are many kinds of music. I imagine that the music the Royal Horse Guards play when they're marching probably can't easily be called spiritual. But I think if it's good music, it has got that aspect to it, even if it is a march and therefore military. As for my own music, well, it has been described in different ways. The author of a book on meditation and the Jewish tradition, who heard a CD of mine, who said that it reminded her, listening to the music. This was a piece called Invocations to Archangels, which I wrote, and she said that it recalled her to a symphony of souls that she had while in an altered state. Well, this is not what I was trying to write into the music. One just writes it. There are a couple of words that come up again and again in people's comments on my own music. One of the words is mysterious, and the other is haunting. I come from a classical direction, though my music is infused a little bit with jazz, quite a lot more with Indian classical music, which I find very appealing.
Do you believe that vibration, sound, and the music can heal people, and to which extent, how powerful you think the music can be?
I think it can be very powerful. I can tell you several things about that. One is there's a Frenchman, musician turned all kinds of other things, called Fabien Maman. I don't know whether you've heard the name. Living in California now. But back in the 1990s, I think it was, he worked with a French biologist, trying to see how sounds from standard musical instruments affected human cells. And I saw a slideshow he gave. I got him to come to this country some time ago and give a weekend workshop, which he did. And these cells showed cells deforming. These slides, cells deformed under sounds projected from a guitar, from a flute, from various instruments. Perhaps the most interesting bit was he showed some cancer cells breaking down under the influence of that projected sound. If you look at advertising for musical events in this part of the world, in our civilization, you see a lot of words which mean exciting, or this will be very exciting, this will stir you up, this will bring you. So it's all about raising, the level of excitement. Well, I regard that as a kind of ersatz experience, which gets you very excited, lovely, I feel great, but then you go away and 5 minutes later you're flat. It doesn't last, and you suffer from anomie and other similar things. Whereas I and a few other composers I know, who I could name if you like, are working in the other direction, trying to sort of bring people down with the use of sound and the music, so that they're much more grounded, so that they're more physically in their body and more physically in now, in the present, and that's something which can last much longer. If you go away from a concert with that feeling, you're still feeling it a week later. I think the power of sound is very powerful, very powerful. And people, the other half of what I do, improvisation. I run improvisation workshops, and the idea there is not for me to lead the workshop and pull people in a certain direction, but to work with various techniques to give the power over to the group with the use of sound. And anything is good. Whatever people bring, whatever style of music, whatever, it can all blend together very well, and does. And the idea of the whole thing is for people to make a connection without the use of words. Because words, as several composers have said, such as Mendelssohn, who was clear about this, words are far less precise than music. In some respects, it would seem to be the opposite. But with words, you can lie. I can lie. Anybody can lie, and we do. We try to say the best about our lives. We're lying sometimes, perhaps a lot of the time. But with sound, you cannot do that. You cannot do that because music and sound has been described as an untranslatable language, and in the sense that it's untranslatable, it is also ineffable, and so you can't manipulate it and make it lie. A dear friend of mine is a psychotherapist who has adopted the use of sounding, making vocal noises, and so on, into his practice, and his patients, some of them anyway, are saying, "This is amazing. I've been lying to you for a year, but with the words, but now I can't lie with this. It really shows where I am with my feelings and so on." And that's quite right.
Do you have any big plans for the future?
Big plans for the future? Yes, to watch my grandchildren grow up. Musically, well, yes, there's a number of things I'd like to write. I have a large-scale piece which will probably get performed next year, 50 minutes, a song cycle based on the psychological model of flows in the psyche. Whole lot of poems hung around it, and it's sort of about aspects of an imaginary life. That has been commended. The score has been seen by some well-known composers, including Jonathan Harvey, who have commended it highly and said they really want to hear this. I'd like to write an opera. I have in me somewhere. I have an opera. I keep a file with some jottings about where it might develop, but one needs funding and 3 years of funding to write a full-length opera.
Clement, on behalf of Ability of Love TV, thank you very much.
Thank you.